Thank you so much for joining me on a Sunday morning. Always good to have a bit of a boogie because it's freezing cold in Melbourne. But we are out of lockdown, which means that we can go out and about. And straight after this, I'm heading out to have lunch with a friend and do some shopping. And I cannot wait. Let me know in the comments what you're doing this weekend. Are you crafting? Are you getting out and about? Is it warm where you are? Where are you from? If you're new to my channel, type new in the comments as well, because I want to meet you, find out all about you. And today I've got really exciting thing to share with you. The brand new Cricut Joy foil transfer kit. Now, we've all known it's been around for the Explore machines and the Maker machines. Did you know it's coming out for the Cricut Joy? It will be available on all the usual retailers from June 30, and Cricut very kindly sent me one so that I can show you how it all works. And I have to say, I thought this morning, I better take it out of the box and have a bit of a play with it, right? And make sure that I know what I'm doing. And I have to say it worked beautifully, and I can't wait to share a project with you today and tell you obviously what's all in the kit and everything else, but also stick around to the end because I'm going to show you really quickly how you can write on the inside of the card. And as you know, I always love sharing little tips and tricks, and I've got a great one for you today. If you don't know who I am, my name is Paul, Scissors Paper Paul, on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. Make sure you're following me on all of those socials because I share different tips and inspiration and project links on all the different platforms. So yeah, make sure you're following me all of those. If you don't know who I am, as I mentioned, Paul, Scissors Paper Paul. I am a bit tongue-tied on a Sunday morning today, but I'm here to share all my Cricut knowledge and expertise with you so that you can master these incredible machines and products. And ultimately, I want you to make beautiful things. As always, if you like this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I've got almost 4,000 subscribers, which is amazing. So thank you so much to each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. All right, let's jump into the comments and then we're going to get started. Deirdre, cold in Sydney. Welcome to the club. Mrs. Happy's in Queensland, mum of 5, spending the day crafting with my kids. Awesome. What are you going to make? What are you crafting with those kitties? I wish my son was a bit more interested in craft. Michelle's here. Good to see you again. Kay's cooking, crafting with chalk paint and Cricut tonight. Awesome. What are you going to do with the chalk paint? I'm going to start doing some more projects with Cricut. With paint. Lynette's working on a uni assignment and it's cold in Adelaide. Oh, well, probably a good day to be inside and doing some homework, I suppose. Yeah, America's saying it's definitely very cold there. Thank you so much. And Mrs. Happy, welcome. Let me know what your first name is. Chris is here. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, let's go to the overhead and have a look. First and foremost, actually, I'll do the split. First and foremost, look at my super cute card. This is the one that I made this morning. It's my nephew's birthday. Look at that foil. Can you see that lighting up? And just for the record, you can see there's some little gaps here on some of those little lines. Just so you know, that's part of the design. It was absolutely a flawless application. It was just so easy, and you're going to love it as well. So what you're going to need for this project, of course, you will need insert cards. Now, I use the blue for this particular card, but I did use a different insert. So what I effectively do is I open up, when they're on sale, I buy a pack, I open them up and I just mix them all together. But effectively in each pack you get around 10 to 12 cards. You get the card base itself, you get inserts that actually coordinate with these colors as well, and you even get envelopes. So you are good to go. These are really affordable. Again, links in the description to everything that I'm looking at today. The Joy's on sale as well, and so are some of these card packs. So you might want to pick some of those up. We also have, I'm using Cricut foil today. So today I'm actually going to use the silver foil, which is included in the pack, and I'm going to talk about that. But you can get it in gold, you can get it in these lovely reds and all sorts of different colors. This is, I just wanted to share, as one of my favorites because it's got green, purple, and this gorgeous teal. So I've used this quite a lot, and I just wanted to share that with you. But you get 24 in a little, basically 4x6 inch or 10 by 15 centimeter pack. You also get tape, all the tape that you need to be able to stick these down. So you've got everything, and I really love that as well. So you don't need to buy any other supplies other than obviously the tool, the card mat, the Joy, the insert cards, and the foil. So there's a few things that you need. So what's in the kit? Here we go. So in the kit, you get your foiling tool, of course. So here it is. It comes separate, just like with the one for the Maker or the Explore, you can remove the tip. There's only a medium tip for the Cricut Joy. I don't know if that'll change in the future. It may, I don't know, but you only get the medium tip. And of course, to insert it, it's magnetic. So you just press this little button here and then just pop your tip in. And of course, you want the 2 lines for medium poking out the very bottom. So you get that in your pack. You also get 12 sheets of foil, so you're ready to go and you can start using it straight away. And you also get all of these sticker sheets, which you'll see me apply to keep the foil stuck down. Now, the reason that I kept my scissors out was to remind me as well, when I open these packs, they have a little flap of plastic that's sticky and it's stuck over to close it. I just cut that off, and the reason being, because it's sticky, if you try to hold it open and pull your your foil out, it can get stuck to the little sticky bit, and you don't want that because it could remove some of the foil, yada, yada, yada. So I just cut that off. All right, so that's a little hot tip for you. So we'll pop that aside as well. We will pop our card that we've already made aside, throw out our rubbish, move our scissors, and we'll jump into Design Space, but this is what I'm using today. I'm going to use a pink base. And then again, from my stash, I've got the mermaid holographic or just the plain holographic. So we'll decide what looks best when we make our project. So let's jump into Design Space. And I'll just quickly check and make sure. Joe, don't worry if you're late. All good. You can watch the replay as well. Gail's saying with the chalk paint, she seals it with Mod Podge on a jar for a plant. So I've got a project coming up where I'm going to repurpose some coffee jars as well. I'm going to be using paint for those as well. Deirdre saying, can the tip pre-ordered? Not that I'm aware of at this stage, but if that changes, I'll let you know. And Erica needs to stock up on her card packs. Hey Sandy, awesome, thank you. 3D dinosaur skeletons, oh how exciting. I'd love to see that. Share it on my Scissors Paperball Facebook page. All right, so into Design Space we go. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to be aware of. If I go to My Projects and then All Categories, so first thing first, on the top right, we've got to make sure that we've got our Joy selected. And then we can go to All Categories and we can scroll down and we can look for Insert Cards. Now in Australia, we only have that medium size, so the 4.25 by 5.5 inch, or I think Americans call it an A2 card. If I was going to use this card, this Funkel card, you can see I can't customize this. It has drawing, but I can't customize it to change that drawing to foiling. So I'm going to show you how you can find a card and use the foiling tip. And again, this is in the desktop version. So I'm going to go New Project. You can't do it in the Cricut Design Space app, but you can do this in the Cricut Joy app. And to be honest, it's so easy. If you've got a Cricut Joy, make sure you download the Cricut Joy app. It is separate, same login details. It is so easy to do these cards in the app, but my phone's up here today, so I couldn't show you that separately. So we're going to do it in Design Space, Cricut Design Space desktop version. All right, so I'm going to search for an image, and I'm going to search Insert Card, and I'm going to search Mum Thank You, okay? I want to send my mum a bit of a thank you card. She's been very kind to me of late, as she always is, but extra specially. So I just wanted to send her a little card to say thank you. And then I'm going to go to Operation Type on the left-hand side, and I'm going to look for Draw and Cut. And what you'll find is lots of these little insert cards that are ready to go. Now, if you have an Explore or you have a Maker Machine, I will link up here to a tutorial on how you can, one, create your very own insert card designs, but also how you can cut these on your Cricut Maker or Explore machines as well. Again, not as easy as on the Cricut Joy, but you can do it. And I'm really drawn to this image here, so I'm going to select it and I'm going to insert. Okay, so here is my design. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down, because at the moment the pen, the drawing, is actually attached to the card design. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to, on the right hand side down the bottom, I'm going to click Detach. And now the pen element is completely separate. So I can go up on the right hand side in the Layers panel, I'm going to select it, come along to the top left where it says Operation, and where it says Pen, I'm going to change to Foil, and then where it's defaulting to gold, I'm going to choose silver because that's the color that I'm going to use. And then we're ready. We are good to go. But I'm just going to select it all again and attach just so everything stays in the right place. And then we're going to come along to the top right and we're going to click Make It. Now the fabulous thing about Design Space, it is going to step me through every part of the process. I'm using my card mat today, so I'm going to choose on card mat and click Done. And then down the very bottom, I'm going to click Continue. Okay. And now it's just going to find my machine, which is plugged in. And then I need to choose my base material, which is Insert Cardstock. So we're using one of the insert cards. And here it is. It tells me to load my foil transfer tool and take my silver foil on my base material and then load it into the machine. So let's go into the overhead. And we're going to open up our Cricut. And then I'm going to take out my fine point blade, pop that to the side, and then I'm going to pop in my foil transfer tool, and then I'm just going to move this out the way, and we're going to take off our cover of a Joy card mat. So sometimes people say, oh, my Joy mat's not sticky, because it does have a protective cover like the larger mats. And then we just feed in underneath the sticky part, feed our card in all the way to the edge, and then press it down nice and firmly. All right, so let's get our foil. I'm going to take one sheet out. Okay, now if you're doing a smaller foil design, you can absolutely cut these down. No worries at all, and just use half a sheet. Here we go. Okay, and then I'm going to take my first piece of sticky tape. Now, what I've talked about a lot on all my videos is go slowly, because as you pull down your as you bring down this sticky tape, the foil will actually be drawn to it. So it's actually going to come up to meet the sticky. And then once that's done, I don't know if you saw that because I'm not actually stuck down yet, then I'm just going to stick it down nice and taut. And then I'm going to do the other side. So you really want to get a nice taut application. So again, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it's going to come up to meet, there it is, see it's come up, not actually stuck down yet, and then just put nice and taut and stick that down, okay? And then we just go around the other sides. We don't have to worry about it coming up to meet, but we just want to stick it down and just make sure we're getting it nice and taut, and that's really going to help with your application. I've gone a bit probably to the wrong side on this one, but that's okay. Stick it down there. All right, so that's done. And now, as per Design Space, we're going to load our mat. So again, back to the overhead, and it goes. And then, as you know, with Cricut Joy, it automatically starts to feed. It's going to check to make sure that we've got enough material or the mat's long enough, so forth. And then it's going to be ready to go. And in Design Space, I just come down to the bottom right and I click Go. And it's going to work its magic. So while it's doing that, I'll just check some of the comments. Erica's saying that she always gets her sticky strips stuck to everything. Yes, be careful. If you make a mistake, you can pull it off. Just be really gentle. I did it before when I did it this morning. I sort of mucked it up a little bit. I wasn't happy with it, so I just peeled it back and then just reapplied. No issues as well. Chris is saying, great hot tip, sticky strip has a mind of its own. It does. So you just go slowly, and honestly, just like a magnet. The foil just lifts right up to it, and then once you've got it, then you place it down onto your substrate or whatever you're applying the foil to. Suzette's asking, do the marker tips for the foil fit the Joy foil? Marker tips for the foil fit the... Are you asking if the tips for the Maker or the Explore machines fit the Joy? Is that the question? Hey Jessica. Oh, Paul Burke. So there's a Paul from the UK, there's a Paul from the US watching. Hey guys. Some very good friends of mine. So good to see you guys here. About how much for the foil tip, please. Okay, so retail, recommended retail price is $49.95 for the kit. All right, so that part's finished. And now we'll jump into Design Space again so you can see what the instructions are telling us. So it is telling us now to remove the silver foil and then load the fine point blade. Now, I did this earlier and I forgot to put my fine point blade back in. So we won't forget that today. So we'll go back to the overhead and you can watch me do this. So I'm just going to peel this off, and we're not unloading the mat, just peeling it off. Now you'll see here that this piece of sticky is actually really under the blade. That's okay, we will be able to easily get that from underneath. No worries at all, comes right out, and we can discard what we don't want, and then we'll take out our foiling tip and we'll pop in our blade, and then we'll go back into Design Space and we'll click go, and now it's going to do the cutting. If you do what I did, which was forget to swap out it for the cutting blade, don't worry, you can actually, it does give you the option afterwards to rerun. So all it did was go through and actually trace around with the foiling tip where it's going to cut, and then I swapped it out, did rerun, and then I cut out all the pieces, and it worked perfectly. You saw my card, absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, so these cards are just so easy, and I find now with the foiling, because the foiling on the maker, you've got to get the maker out or the explorer out, you've got to set it all up, all of that sort of stuff. I mean, this is just taking how easy the Cricut Joy is for making cards to a whole new level, and I'm just loving the quality of the foiling. It's just so beautiful. It's just flawless. Hopefully, we'll see in a minute. All right, so back into Design Space again, and then we're clicking Unload because there's no buttons on the Cricut Joy. So we'll click Unload. Here comes our card, and then we'll take off our card very gently. Most of the negative space parts will stay on the mat. We'll just move that to the side. Then we've got a little bit here, just a little bit stuck in there. So it's very fine cut. We'll just pull that out and pull that piece off. Okay, and then let's put in our insert, and you can be, these are quite thick, but you can be quite forceful, don't stress. You shouldn't go through it or anything weird like that. And the last one, and then what I normally do is just close it, give it a little bit of a press to make sure it's all nice and lovely in there, and then here we go. So I'm just going to change my camera view so I can see, but there we go, look at that foil lighting up, isn't that gorgeous? That is so beautiful. And look, it's just flawless. The application, you know, there is a bit of a learning curve with the larger machines. And I've shared those a lot of tips with you today. But how beautiful is that? So that card's going to go to Mum, and I'm sure she's going to love it. Now, let me know in the comments if you like it. What do you think? Is it something you'd be interested in? Now I'm going to show you how you can write on the inside of the card. And again, this is for any any insert card. It's got nothing to do, I'm not going to use foiling, I'm actually going to use a pen to write on the inside of my nephew's card. Just going to write happy birthday. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. So I've just cleaned off all the bits off my mat here so it's nice and clean. So again, we'll just jump into Cricut Design Space. I'm going to come up to the home, and I'm going to go canvas, cancel the cut. Yes, we'll get rid of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to search images now, and this time I'm just going to search happy birthday, and then for my operation type I'm actually going to change that to draw only because I want my Cricut to draw. And then you get all of these different options that can draw with pens, or you could change these to foil as well, but I'm just going to pick something pretty basic for my nephew, and then of course my son can write on the inside of the card as well. But one thing that I wanted to do, first things first, we're going to go up to the operation type, and where it says pen, we're going to choose foil. Actually, we want pen, but we're going to choose a marker, and we're going to choose silver, because that's what we're going to do. Now, I want to show you, if I click Make It, and I'm going to do this on the card mat, so I'm going to choose on the card mat. This is what it's going to look like, okay? So effectively, if I can move this, okay, and I can sort of position it where I think the middle of that card on that mat is, because as you know, it's not going to be right in the middle of the mat. The shorter cards sit a little bit higher. So you can sort of guesstimate it, and I've certainly done that before and it's worked beautifully, but I'm going to show you a little tip. So what I do is I take a shape, so insert shape, and I'll choose a square. Okay, and I'm going to make this blue because that's the color of my card, so I can see it visually. I'm going to unlock the dimensions, and I'm going to make it 4.25 by by 5.5. Now that is the dimension of the card, but, okay, there's always a but, right? There is, just like with the Cricut Maker, if I was to send this to the mat, there is a tiny little border that it will put around it. So effectively, it's not going to be quite in the middle. So what I do is I change my width to 4.1, and that's roughly going to account for that little border component. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my happy birthday. I'm going to change the size. I'm going to make it 4 inches wide, or 10 centimeters. I'm going to hold down my shift key, and then using the turn arrow, that will just move in 15-degree increments, so I know that it's perfectly straight. I'm going to right click, center front. I'm going to move it to the front of my card or my template. I'm going to select all. I'm going to align center, and now smack bang in the middle of my little template. Okay, so then I'm going to attach, and then I'm going to click make it, and this is where the fun begins. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose on a card mat. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the overhead. So what I'm going to do, here's my card, is I'm now going to turn it inside out, basically, and make sure that it is nicely, and you can do this before you do the cutting with whatever stage. Now I'm going to feed the already cut and foiled piece underneath my mat. Okay. My insert is really thick, so it's causing me a little bit of trouble. I might just take the insert out when we do this part. So this one, the holographics in particular, are super thick, so we'll just feed that underneath. Much easier. Okay, and we'll stick that down. Okay. And then we'll go into Design Space, we'll click Continue, and again it's going to tell us exactly what to do. So the first thing we want to choose is Insert Cardstock, and then it's telling us to load the silver pen, which we'll do. So we'll take out our cutting fine point blade, Joy pen, just got to retest, make sure it's working. Yes it is. That just slots in there and close the clamp. Okay, and then load into the mat. So in we go, loading it into the mat. Again, automatic, no buttons on the machine. It's going to load, make sure everything's loaded correctly, making sure everything's aligned, and then it's going to tell me in Design Space to click Go. So I'm going to click Go, and then we'll let the card write. Okay, saying absolutely lovely, look forward to getting this, love making cards on your Joy. It's so quick, right? It's so easy. Erica saying, absolutely can't wait to make cards with a foiling tip. The pens don't pop against some colours. The foil will be amazeballs. Yeah, look, I really like the foil pens, and I think I've linked them in the description as well, but the foil pens, particularly for the darker cardstock, they're perfect. They obviously stand out really well, and just like the foil, because it has that shiny metallic element. Chris, thank you for your well wishes. I'm sure Mum will love it. Joe's loving that as well. Hello Barbara, welcome. Great to have you here. Deirdre, I think I answered that question. Paul, let me know, was that magical? Did you like that? Magic. So it's almost finished, and then we'll pop it out and see how we did. So again, just popping quickly into Design Space, and then we'll click and this is where it's going to get fun. So we don't want to cut, right? So I'm going to take out my pen, but I'm not going to put a blade back in, and then I'm going to click Go, and so it's going to do this, what it thinks it's cutting, but really it's doing nothing at all. But it just enabled us to use that as a template. So again, that's a little hot tip for you. So here's my blade here, I haven't put it back in, so it hasn't actually cut anything. And then again in Design Space, we're going to click Unload, and then we'll go to the overhead and we'll have a look. So here it is. There is the inside of our card with our happy birthday sentiment, perfectly centered within the card and looking super cute and all ready for my son to write in. So there you go, nice quick project today. I hope you really enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if you've got any more questions, but I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Sui's saying that she's had a hard time making cards, but keep practicing. Sui, just let me know in the comments or send me a PM through Facebook. Happy to answer any questions and help you troubleshoot. But yes, just have a wonderful weekend. And if you've got a long weekend like me, enjoy that as well. Next Thursday, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you're a member of Cricket for Australians, Natalie will be live on Thursday. And then you'll see me again next week at this time. So wonderful to see you all. Have a beautiful weekend. And I'll see you next time. Bye.